Samsung's about to pull a sneaky move with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and no, it's not just another spec bump. Sure, the camera still says 200MP on paper, but what's happening underneath is a complete transformation. And believe it or not, it might even push Samsung to redesign the entire phone. On the surface, things might look the same megapixel count, similar design, but don't be fooled. What Samsung is doing here goes deeper than it seems. Let's start with the camera. The 3x telephoto lens is getting a small but solid bump from 10MP to 12MP. That alone is nice. But the real deal is what's happening with the main sensor and the 5x periscope camera. According to Ice Universe, both are getting major upgrades, and that's where the excitement begins. The S26 Ultra will reportedly use a brand new HP to plus sensor for the main camera. It's still 200MP, but the sensor is physically larger and now includes a wider aperture. That might not sound dramatic, but in the world of photography, those two changes can completely shift how your photos turn out in real life. Here's why it matters. Real photography isn't about cramming in megapixels. It's about how well your camera handles light and motion, and this new setup. It changes the game in three big ways: faster shutter speeds, brighter images, and real depth of field blur without the need for software tricks. Let's start with speed. Samsung phones have long lagged behind the iPhone in terms of shutter speed. The S25 Ultra made some progress, but it still wasn't perfect. With this new HP to plus sensor, Samsung might finally close that gap, giving you snappier photos with less blur, especially in fast-moving scenes. Next, brighter and more natural photos. The wider aperture lets in more light, which means the sensor doesn't have to rely on aggressive software processing. The result? Cleaner, more accurate shots with better dynamic range, especially in challenging lighting conditions like low light or harsh shadows. Here's a quick example. Look at any S25 Ultra photo taken in the shade, say near trees or a bike rack. You'll often see dark, crushed shadows. That's where detail gets lost. But with the S26 Ultra's improved sensor and aperture, those same scenes should look way more balanced and detailed. Now let's talk about background blur. And I mean real blur, not the fake kind you get from software portrait mode. The wider aperture and larger sensor allow for true depth of field. That means softer backgrounds, cleaner subject separation, and a more professional DSLR-like photo look. And remember, it's not just the main sensor getting this treatment. The 5x periscope camera is also getting a wider aperture. That means your zoom shots, especially in low light, will be sharper, clearer, and much less noisy. It also helps at in-between zoom levels that usually look soft or muddy. So yeah, the spec sheet might not scream new, but make no mistake, this is a serious upgrade. After reusing the HP to sensor for nearly 3 years, Samsung is finally stepping up. And if early reports are right, this could give Samsung the upper hand over Apple, at least in camera performance. But wait, with bigger sensors comes a new challenge: thickness. Ice Universe claims that the S26 Ultra's camera modules could protrude by around 3mm. And get this, Samsung reportedly wants to make the phone body thinner than 8mm. That's where things start to get complicated. The likely result, a redesign. Ice believes Samsung might ditch the separate lens cutouts we've seen since the S20 to Ultra and go for a camera island, something closer to what we've seen on the Fold 7 or the S to 5 Edge. Not confirmed, but it would make sense from a design and engineering perspective. Personally, I think it's overdue. The current design has worked well for a few generations, but it's definitely starting to look dated. A new layout would help the S26 Ultra stand out again, not just because it looks better, but because it reflects the massive camera changes happening inside. So what do you think? Would you prefer Samsung stick with the individual camera rings, even if they stick out a little awkwardly? Or would you like a sleeker, unified camera island that hides the bump better and looks more modern overall? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious where you all stand on this one. Personally, I think a redesign is the way to go, especially if they want to match the premium feel of the Fold series. But hey, I'm open to being convinced otherwise. Oh, and before you go, don't miss this. I've covered 5 confirmed upgrades for the Galaxy S26 lineup that are just as exciting as this camera news. Click right here on the screen to check it out. Trust me, it's all good news. I'll see you there.